Mental health, the change maker of life. Children, adolescents, parents, and teachers. What do they have in common? One thing is the personality, the character of a student which they are going to build. But how does that happen when today you see a newspaper, talk to a parent, talk to a teacher, and every corner people are talking about stress, depression, anxiety, suicide, exam stress. Well, when I go and think, can these problems be looked at differently? For example, resources, lack of equal opportunity, the problem of mental health development, the problem of mental health literacy, mental health education amongst parents, lack of dialogue, fear, unawareness, stigma, myth, inability to express and talk to an adolescent what is your problem, rather than the approach which today's most parents take to hide and not discuss the burning issue, which is isolating that student and keeping them silent. They don't express. They suffer in silence. Why do they suffer is a different matter. But what is the answer? I take you much back in the history. When I joined my training in 1979 in KEM Hospital in Mumbai, I remember the first client that I was given to assess. She traveled about 400 kilometers and came to this city for treatment of what we call tension headache. A 32-year-old lady, housewife, suffering for tension headache for a number of years. We tried to talk and tried to pinpoint the conflicts. And what I learned that emotional, psychological conflicts present with physical symptoms. So if your adolescent complains of a chest pain, headache, giddiness, dizziness, do not pre-conclude that it is because of heart or lung problem. No. Majority of these situations are arising because of psychological pain. You will ask me, obviously, where does this pain come from? The pain comes from their inability to understand, resolve, and reason the question which they have. And that is why we need to communicate. Our parents and all parents like us need to know what psychology is, what is mental health education. Because nothing but an appropriate and credible mental health education can change the scene of psychiatric morbidity, of psychological ill health, of people or children, those who are experiencing symptoms of distress and often take a desperate step of attempting suicide. We need to be mindful because there is enough data in society. You talk to your neighbor, talk to in parent-teacher meetings, and you'll be able to easily understand what is the problem. But are we able to implement the solutions? Once we know that the problem is communication, once we know that problem is education, are parents trying to cultivate a habit to educate themselves in order to build a robust personality of their children? I doubt. Primarily because the scientific resources are lacking, and secondly, we do not know the methodology which will work. But anyway, if we believe that general discussion also works in favor of a client, so be it. It must continue. It must be a dialogue every corner, but a scientific dialogue. Therefore, what is scientific? We must know. What is mind, what is body, how they are regulated. Only three things are the key messages which a child must know, an adolescent must know. We have developed a digital technology which is tailored to find out level of stress, mental health conditions, and the strength of mind. All it does is to analyze what an adolescent or a student needs to do. It's meant for people who are 18 years and above. It's going to be launched very soon. It's scientifically based and credible. We have looked into all possible aspects of its functioning. After the students punch their data, it brings out 3 different outcomes. If the situation is such that he needs to see a counselor, or if a situation is such that he or she needs to see a psychiatrist, is there an emergency, or the student can take healthy steps to reform their own life. We call it digital relief for mental health. Wait for it. 18th March, it will be out and open. Let me know your feedback. I know may not be perfect, but it is an initiative, and I'm sure my colleagues are all working in the field of digital mental health, which is going to bring a revolution in this country. Because there is no other answer. We cannot take the methodology of finding out presence of a psychiatric disorder or distress or needs to be defined to every school, every university in form of human resource. Technology is here to help us.